What's the intro game saying? What pun are you going for? Are you not?
I don't really have one.
Just trying to think. Just trying to think.
This could be the intro.
That's quite funny,
Just
actually.
like 2 minutes of dead air. Let's be thinking. What kind of punch should we think of? Hello and welcome to
Yeah.
DNQ football. We couldn't think of a pun, but today we're talking about UEFA European Championship qualifying for 2024. The draw has been done recently. The
Mm.
fixtures have been announced, and of course, in DNQ spirit, Ryan, we are looking at this from a minnow nation perspective.
Amen. Sensational intro as always, my friend.
Mm.
And that is exactly what we're doing. Did you know? Did you actually know that the Euro draw, the 2024 draw, was happening? Because
No, I did
I,
not.
I actually, I didn't, and luckily, because of the world that we live in nowadays, one scroll of Twitter and it was like, the draw's happening. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. We are reviewing the draw from that Minnow Nation angle. And we have now, I can't see what you have on your screen, but we're talking through each of the groups,
We
and
are.
the viewers can see you, me, and the groups. That's
And the
correct.
groups, yes, indeedy.
Super,
Super.
super. Where are we starting then? Are we going to start in? Sorry about that. Are we going to start in? I mean, I could say Group A, but there are no minnow nations in that, so we're going to rapidly skim across.
We'll skim across. Cyprus and Georgia, the two poorest sides in that group. It'll be a good chance for Norway to qualify, perhaps along with Spain. I imagine they'll battle it out along with Scotland. Erling Haaland versus Scotland will, I'm sure, be the case in Group B.
Erling
Yeah,
Haaland FC taking on Scotland and Spain.
yeah, I
Looks a
think
cool
so.
group.
Yes, yeah, competitive, and Cyprus and Georgia, I'm sure will have some well competed games. And these aren't easy games for Scotland either, particularly the away games in Cyprus and Georgia won't be easy.
No, they
But
won't.
no true minnows in that group, unlike Group B, where Gibraltar find themselves alongside France, Greece, the Netherlands, and the Republic of Ireland. How do you rate their chances?
It's not. It's a rough draw. It's a really rough draw, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, I think some of the groups, as we're going to go through, are really really tough. But I think Gibraltar ranked 204, the second lowest team in the UEFA Confederation, won't be licking their lips at these
Mm,
ties. In 2022, they have played eight, they've drawn three, they've lost five, which isn't a bad year. Notable draws. One against Granada and the Faroes, both nil-nil, and then they
mm,
had that quite insane draw against Bulgaria
yeah.
earlier in the year. Uh, I feel bad to say that I think they're going to lose every game in this group. Um,
I think
is
there's
that?
an element of realism. We love the Minnow Nation perspective. I think Gibraltar are
Yeah,
growing quickly on the scene. They've not been in the international football scene for that long, really, competitively.
I think it's only like
But
7 years. I think
yeah,
2013, 2014, something like that. That's 8 years. That's 8, 9 years actually, isn't it? But
but still not long
yeah, no,
comparatively.
it's not. It's
Um,
not.
yeah, there's no easy games in this group. If you're looking at a group and Greece or the Republic of Ireland is the easiest game,
Yeah.
it's not good for a minnow. I think that
Oh
they will
no.
do well to get a single point. And to be honest, if they can bowl around getting 2-0 defeats, I don't think that will be too bad either.
No.
A tough group for them.
It is. It's a really, really tough group. I see what we'll do. Why don't we at the end we'll go through the groups and then we can
Mm.
almost sort of rank
Minnow
the minnow
chances.
nations. Yeah, yeah. But and I'm gonna spoiler alert. I think Gibraltar would be right down there, mate. They've had a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
tough draw, real tough draw in Group B and Group C.
Mm.
A minnow, but not to the same extent. Malta
Mm.
in with who have you're looking at the groups, my friend.
Yeah,
Help me out.
so England, Italy, North Macedonia, and Ukraine as well. That's, of course, kind of all being as is at the minute, with Ukraine being able to compete in that. But England, Italy, and North Macedonia alongside Malta in
Mm,
that group. It's two huge teams in England and Italy. Despite obviously Italy failing to qualify for the World Cup, they are the current holders of the Euros alongside the other
They are.
finalists in England. But
Yeah,
Malta will have a chance to perhaps take a scalp of North Macedonia. I'd say would be their best
potentially.
chance.
Potentially. I mean, obviously we're English, so
Mm.
looking at that draw from our selfish English point of view, it's a hard group. It's a really hard group,
Yeah,
that mate.
yeah.
Italy and Ukraine. Now we've watched plenty of Ukraine, but they were in. Obviously, we don't know what that situation is going to be, but they were in World Cup playoffs where they knocked out Scotland, I believe, and then they
Knocked out
went and they
Scotland and lost to Wales just.
lost to Wales, but just, I mean, Hennessy and Ben
Mm,
Davies in that
mm.
game were particularly insane, and they moved the ball really, really well. And they play Zinchenko at centre mid, don't they? And
Yeah, he just
he's just
bosses it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really hard group. Malta. Now we spoke in our last video about the September internationals. If you haven't watched it, what on earth are you doing?
Mm,
We spoke about their famous recent victory against Israel, and they've had an insane 2022. They've played eight, they have won five, and only lost three, and they've kept four clean sheets. It does
it's
include
incredible.
two. It includes two wins and two clean sheets against San Marino this year. But they had a friendly earlier in the year and only lost 1-0 to Venezuela.
Yeah,
Passionate
yeah,
friendly
yeah.
alert. Passionate
Mm,
friendly alert there, by the way. And in sort of two of their three defeats this year, they lost twice. 2-1 to Estonia. In both games, Estonia scored very, very late winners. So
mm.
they've had a good year, and they are by no means a pushover, and they will fancy their chances basically at kind of at giving some of these sides what I'm going to describe as a tough game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, they had a really random fact here that I only sort of clocked earlier. Or they have a player for Malta called Teddy Tuma. On
Mm.
FIFA 22, he was a 69 rating
That is,
for
yeah,
Malta.
yeah,
For
yeah.
Malta, I was going to say we're
Wow.
not massive we're not massive gamers, although we used to love FIFA back in the
Mm,
day, the
back in the
FIFA World
day,
Cup games. Um, yeah, Teddy Tuma.
that's a
But
pretty
yeah,
high
that's
rating.
just a random one for you there, mate.
I like that.
But yeah, and I guess that's kind of how I see Malta faring in Group
Mm,
C, my friend.
mm. Group D, there are no out and out minnow nations, but it is a challenging group. You've got Armenia, Croatia, Latvia, Turkey, and Wales. So
Mm,
Wales basically spending a lot of time east for this
it's
one.
tough.
That's a
Those
tough
away
group.
games, yeah, away
Mm,
games will be hard there
yeah, yeah.
for from a Welsh point of view. It's going to be a really gritty, hard fought group, that one,
Hmm.
doesn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, particularly, Armenia are a solid side.
Mm.
Croatia, very good team. Latvia are no slouches. And Turkey kind of seem to be on the up. They get an occasional win every now and then against, a really big side. That will be very tough for Wales to qualify through
Yeah,
that route.
yeah, away days, away games in Turkey are always challenging. And
Yeah,
Latvia, just
yeah,
off the
yeah.
back of a successful Nations League campaign where they got promoted. So, tough group. No out and out minnows in that one though, mate. What about Group E?
Well, Group E, yes and no. Albania, Czech Republic, and Poland, the big sides in that group, but they are joined by a duo of the Faroe Islands and Moldova, meaning that those two sides will have a chance, at least against each other, to
Yeah,
try and get some decent results. I don't see them being able to get too many points off of Poland or the Czech Republic, and I don't want to do Albania a disservice because they're a decent side as well. So I think it'll be a real battle between those two teams.
yeah, I think so too. I think so too. The lowest ranked of those teams is Moldova,
Mm,
174. Did you know, mate? I'm hitting you with so many
so much
insane
knowledge.
facts, by the way. In 2008, they had a FIFA ranking of 37.
Who?
Moldova.
In
Yeah, I saw it.
2008?
2008. Like researching. I was researching earlier, and Moldova had a FIFA ranking of 37.
What?
You don't believe me? Google it. Google it. How rapid is your computer feeling? Google it now quickly.
I'm not going to do it because I don't want to muck up the screens. I'm
Oh,
going to have
okay,
to
okay.
trust you.
Sorry. I was gonna say wiki. Check their wiki after. I also couldn't believe it and thought I'd throw it out there on this call. Hey, I tell you what. Any viewers that are like, mate, that is couldn't be that couldn't be more wrong. Throw a comment down,
Mm,
um, and do correct me because my research on this topic on the Moldovan football heritage across the last 15, 20 years.
mm,
I didn't go any further than Wikipedia, so my bad there if I've just thrown a shocking stat out there. They didn't have a bad 2022 though, pal.
mm,
And another potential passionate fixture of the year alert. In January, they played Uganda
mm,
and
mm.
lost 3-2. They were 2-0
That's a
up.
good, wow, wow. It's a good
Yeah,
going.
I know. Cool. And they missed out on Nations League promotion. We just touched on Latvia
Mm,
that got promoted. They were the side that missed out. They actually finished on the same points. Um, they missed out on head-to-head goal difference
ugh,
across the two
yeah.
fixtures. Played 10 this year and won five. As we said, not a bad draw. They've got the Pharaohs. Might be able to pick up a draw, maybe a win. Who knows?
Yeah.
Not a bad draw for them though, really, compared
Not
to some of
too
the
bad.
others.
They get to have a go. At least Albania, they'll have a go at. As will the Pharaohs. I imagine Albania will win both those games, but an away day in Moldova or the Pharaohs will be tough for some of those travelling sides.
I think so.
Group F, Estonia, the weakest side, probably alongside kind of them or Azerbaijan. They're alongside Austria, Belgium, and Sweden. Um, you'd have to say it's a battle between Sweden and Austria for that second qualification spot. On paper, Estonia and
Yeah.
Azerbaijan will probably battle it out for third, fourth, or fifth in there, depending on what kind of Sweden side turns up. Because they've had an interesting squad over the last few years, but no out and out minnows in that one. So we will
No,
skip along to Group G, which I think, big statement, is one of the weakest groups on paper.
probably. I'd probably agree. And it consists of Hungary, Serbia, Montenegro, Bulgaria, and Lithuania.
Yeah,
But Hungary are hungry at the moment for
yeah,
success.
yeah, yeah.
They're playing well, cracking results in Nations League. They did very well and were very unfortunate in the Euros in the 2020 Euros, in 2021, because they had the group of death: Germany, France, Portugal, and them. I don't think they got out of it. I'm pretty certain they didn't. But hey, they're playing really, really well. So I actually
Mm,
expect them to win that. Serbia have had a collection of really, really good players that are kind of aging a little bit and they're slightly on decline. And then you've got Montenegro, Bulgaria, Lithuania. Lithuania are probably the one that we will look at, I guess, from a minnow nation. They're, I think, 140-ish ranked.
yeah, we'll look at
They-
Lithuania, but they're
They'll
all
have
those
they'll have a
sides
bit of a
around
tough.
that point, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll have a tough spot there. I think. They might get something against the Bulgarias and the Montenegros of the world, but I think it'll be a tough group. I actually see Hungary winning that group. Actually,
Mm.
because of how they've been playing at the moment, they're so strong at home. Hungary.
Yeah, them and Serbia are certainly the favourites for that one, but I think it will be a real battle between the other sides. I think it's one of those things. I don't think Bulgaria, Lithuania, or Montenegro will qualify because they won't. Not one of those sides is going to beat the others both times to kind
Mm,
of push in and around. I see them getting a few draws or nicking points off of each other, which will be good for the world rankings, but detrimental to if they wanted to sneak into a Euros qualification spots. And now we're into
mm,
the two groups, the three groups, should I say, with six teams in. So H,
yeah.
I, and J. And Group
Yes.
H is where we find the worst team in the world, San Marino, joined by Denmark, Finland, Kazakhstan, Northern Ireland, and Slovenia.
Yeah.
A
Tough group.
tricky group. A tricky
Tough
group
group
for
for
them.
the heroic San Marino squad, and we hope that they can continue to build off of their incredible UEFA European Championships qualifying history, where they have
Mm.
amassed a total of 8 goals um, across the whole history. I was looking at this earlier, and we love that. I'm gonna hands up. I did laugh at that. We love the Minnow Nations here, but we can also appreciate their brilliance in all
Yeah,
their different
yeah.
kind of poor and wonderful ways. 8 goals in their entire qualification history. Um,
Where are they going to
and
find
I
goal number nine then in this group?
oh, what a do you know on their online um, there is a site that has it's like it basically just details all the games that San Marino have not lost in their history.
Mm.
They've not lost 8. The Seychelles draw was number 8 this year. But where are they getting number 9? The ninth goal in their UEFA Euros qualification history, and they're getting it at home to Kazakhstan in this
Yeah,
group. I think that,
yeah,
yeah, like, I mean, I expect them to have a tough time in this group. It's going to be a tricky one. Again, Northern Ireland, I don't think Northern Ireland aren't the same Northern Ireland that they were when they had sort of Johnny Evans and Stephen
yeah,
Davies and
yeah, yeah.
Corey Evans and stuff from a good
Or
few years ago.
Athletic.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So I think maybe at home to Northern Ireland if they can put them under the cosh. They might sneak it all there. I mean, it's a tough group. Denmark are I expect Denmark to win that. They're finding
Hmm.
they've got a good side. They've got a really good blend of experience and young up and coming stars there. So Denmark will probably win that. But San Marino, tough. It's a tough ask for them. If they can, mate, if they can get a goal, that would be scenes on Twitter
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's that San Marino fan account that's got like
Oh,
tens of
thousands,
thousands.
thousands. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, tens of thousands. So anytime they get near the goal, you always see it on their account, like, "Oh my God, we've
Yeah,
got a corner!"
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is always like, yeah,
It is good
always good.
entertainment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think they'd be lucky to get more than goal nine in this group. That's a really tough group, made up of like, all right, they're probably not going to lose 10-0 in any games,
Yeah,
but it may be a string of 2 and 3-0 defeats. I feel in Group H, but they get at least they do get 10 games because they are in one of the slightly larger groups, so
very true.
more of a chance, and they can't go
Very
down in the
true.
world rankings. So the only way is
Eh,
up.
Yeah, every cloud.
Every
Every cloud.
cloud,
The way that you
every
put a
cloud.
positive spin on that, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know,
It's a commendable effort, my friend.
I
Commendable
try.
effort.
I do try.
And then talking about a minnow nation playing 10 games leads us nicely into Group I with
Mm,
Andorra
mhm.
taking the
Yeah.
field against Switzerland, Israel, Romania, Kosovo, Belarus, and then Andorra themselves. And we spoke about these in the last video again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just plugging that September
Mm,
International Review.
mm.
Great little video, if you don't mind me saying. And we spoke about how it's been an incredible 2022 for them, one of potentially their best ever calendar years. Moved up the most recent updates to the FIFA World Rankings. They moved up again. I think only one or two places to 151. Played eight this year. They've only lost two. They've won four of them, and I think that they will be potentially eyeing up some of these fixtures to try and steal something.
I think they'll be looking for points. I do think they'll be looking for points. I don't think they're here just to make up the numbers in this group. I think they'll look at Belarus probably home and away.
Yeah,
They'll look at probably Israel and Kosovo at home, and Romania maybe at home. Listen, are they going to win these games? Probably not, but they will fancy themselves at home
mm,
against some of these sides. Israel aren't as good as they. I mean, they're not doing bad, but they aren't as good as they kind of have been in the past.
yeah,
Kosovo are a good side in an attacking sense, but Andorra are also a good team, and they'll want to build on what was a
mm.
very successful calendar year and pick up some draws and maybe some wins as well.
It's a strange group, really. That Group I, isn't it? It's like who do you think is going to win that? Probably be Switzerland because Switzerland always do really well in qualifying. I
Mm.
think. I do love Kosovo, mate. I went to watch them, didn't I?
Yeah,
Good
against
couple of
England.
years ago. Yeah, England Kosovo was at St Mary's in Southampton. I don't know if that was. I think that was in qualifying actually. We won five
Yeah, five
three.
three. Yeah.
It was honestly
Mm.
such a good game, and the away ends packed out Kosovo end. Um, it felt like a proper kind of match. And they did not stop singing. So and kind of almost sort of from that game, I kind of always I don't look out for all their results, but when I see them, I almost am like, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Just after that, because they couldn't defend for toffee. I think we were 5-1 up at half time, but they just kept attacking. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, hopefully Andorra can do a bit of something there. Yeah,
Yes.
Group I, bit of a
Yeah.
strange one. We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, a
And
bit of
then
a weird one.
I guess then finally, mate,
Mm.
where does that leave us now?
Well, Group J, the final group: Bosnia Herzegovina, Iceland, Portugal, Slovakia, and then you've got Luxembourg and Liechtenstein as
Yes.
well. So, similarly, as we've discussed, when you've got two sides that are a bit poorer, they might look to get points off of each other. But I will say this one's slightly different in terms of I
Yeah.
expect Liechtenstein to lose every game, and I expect Luxembourg to compete with the
Yeah, they
likes
will.
of Iceland, Bosnia, and Slovakia, and even test the Portuguese as well.
I how Luxembourg. drawn in the same group as Portugal for every qualification
It
campaign.
seems that way.
It
It does
feels like
seem
that,
that
doesn't
way.
it?
Yeah.
It's like when Man City drew Shakhtar, or no, sorry, it's
Oh,
Real Madrid, isn't it? That draw Shakhtar Donetsk in
yeah.
every
Ooh.
Champions League group.
Was it Man City and CSKA they used to get every time?
Yeah, it could have been.
Mm.
I don't know.
Every
From
time.
from a yeah, from a Liechtenstein perspective, they are the third worst ranked team in the Confederation at 196. And again, I hope Wikipedia's doing me some favors today because I was gonna say I don't want to throw out another historic stat that's gonna
That way, if
bite
it's wrong,
bite
it
me on.
gets the comments. It helps the algorithm.
Yeah, true. But 11 years ago, they were at the lofty heights of rank 118. But for me, when I thought about that, that didn't sort of jump out as shocking as the Moldova one that I mentioned earlier,
Mm.
because it's kind of, you think about it, and it kind of ties with when we used to play the 2010 FIFA World Cup game on the PlayStation, and you think about the I guess, yeah, we keep throwing about this term, don't we, the golden generation, but
Mm.
the Mario Fricks, the Stockglassers, Franz Bergmeyers, Polverinos, and in goal, can you remember they had Peter
Yeah,
Jella, I can't remember, Jehle, whatever.
Mm.
Um, and they obviously they don't have that at all anymore. They've got a young squad with a few of like the old heads, or a few sort of older heads that are in there. They've got a tough group. They've lost their last 11 and they've scored one goal.
Mm.
I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky time for the for the Liechtenstein fans amongst us. Um, and I think that they'll have it's a tough group because they've got consistently solid European outfits in that
Yeah,
group.
yeah, they do. There's not an easy game. And they'll look at it and go, look, Luxembourg's probably our best chance there at home, but Luxembourg, no slouches.
No.
A string of professional footballers now. They'll look at this as an opportunity to announce themselves further. Um, they may even see this as a chance to get in and around that second spot. I'm
Mm,
not saying that they will, but I think they will think, okay, Portugal on top of this group. How can we pick up as many points as possible to be in and around the conversation for second? And if they did that, wow, that would be incredible for Luxembourg. The journey that they've been on internationally across the last decade to get to where they are now. And yeah, they do seem to get Portugal all the time. And I also have this weird conspiracy theory that they play Italy quite regularly and always draw with them. I don't know
yeah.
why. And Maxime Chanot seems to score every time. I don't know why. I think it's happened
I think
once, but it
yeah,
seems
it
to
has.
happen all the time.
Well, I know that Maxine Shaddle scored against them once,
Yeah, yeah.
in a 1-all. God, that was years ago, I think, mate.
Yeah, that was kind of before they reached the heights where they are now. But I think he plays for New York City, Chanot. So it's
Yeah, I
like
think he,
professional footballers here. And obviously
yeah,
Rodriguez is the big name in an attacking sense, but they are a good side.
yeah. I was gonna say, I think they'll compete in that one.
Hmm.
Liechtenstein, perhaps not.
Less so. So that wraps up the groups. Which side do you think, of the smaller sides, which side do you think has the best chance, or who do you think is going to end up on the most points of the
Oh,
minnow
good
nations?
question. Good question. And you've sort of taken that point I made earlier, and you framed that
Hmm.
in a nicer way. Oh, mate, I'm leaning actually towards Moldova, I think. And I think that they can collect those points against the Pharaohs.
Hmm.
I'm looking at the others. Andorra, potentially Andorra. I think that's what I'm going to say. Moldova as number one, Andorra as a potential. Ooh, they might be able to squeeze a couple of points from Belarus potentially. Just from the others, mate. Liechtenstein, that's a
It's
tough one.
tough.
San Marino,
It's tough.
hard. Malta's difficult. Jib's very difficult. So that's why I'd probably go Moldova as my shout, my minnow nation team shout to get most points in this qualification campaign. Maybe Andorra. Not sure. What about
Hmm.
yourself?
I'd have to think along similar vein. I am going to go with Andorra
Just to be
because
different. Nice.
partly to be different, but also I think I do look at Moldova and I really see them getting 3, maybe 6 points. I don't see them getting any points out of anyone that isn't the Faroe Islands.
Mm,
Whereas Andorra, I feel like Andorra at home could get points. I think they could get points off of Belarus home and away, and they might sneak there because of draws. So that's why I think that they could end up on the
Yeah.
most amount of points. But any win for any of the sides that we've mentioned today, I genuinely think would be fantastic for them.
Yes.
San Marino are looking for goal number 9 more than win
Come
number 2 or win number
on.
3. But yeah, who do you think is going to do the best out of the Minnow Nations? Where is your side? What group are they in? And do you think that they will qualify, whether you're from a Minnow Nation or not? We have mentioned a few times September Internationals. That video is about to pop up on the screen now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.